Hello, boys and girls. It is Coach Joel or Coach Meatball coming at you for our very first virtual homeschool sports jam. I'm so excited that you're here with me today. I wish that we were in person over at Hoffman Park or even at First Presbyterian Church, but that's all right because I'm glad that you're here today. I'm glad that you're here joining me for something brand new to Victory Sports that we've never done before in doing a virtual series. So for the next 3 weeks, we're going to be doing virtual homeschool sports jam, and all that means is that you're going to be at your home, I'm going to be right here, and Coach Lisa and I are going to walk you through 3 sports that we have already learned about, already practiced, but these are 3 sports that I think that we could review and have a lot of fun doing at home, even if you're by yourself, even if you don't have a partner, kind of like me. As you can see, I'm all alone. And that's all right, because I'm going to have a blast with you today as we practice our first sport, which is soccer. All you need for soccer today is a soccer ball. If you have a couple other things, there's going to be some games and drills that you can do with those other things. But even if you just have a soccer ball, there will be things that you can do at home by yourself or with a partner too. So before we get into soccer, we've got to get all your muscles nice and warmed up. Now, I wish that we could play line tag or dodgeball or some of our other really fun warm-up games, but sadly we can't do that right now. But I know that we'll be able to do that soon. So for the meantime, all you're going to need for this warm-up is about 10 or 12 feet of space in a line. I've got my 10 to 12 feet right here, and you're going to start on one side and you're going to go to the other side and back a whole bunch of times in a bunch of goofy ways, and I'm going to show it to you right here, right now. So come with me. All right, now that you got your 10 to 12 feet of space, the first thing you're going to do is go to one side of that space. Doesn't matter, you can go to either side, and you are going to run to the other side, but you're not going to run just any kind of normal run. You're going to do high knees. Now, high knees are exactly what it sounds like. All you're going to do is kick your knees up as high as you can. Try to kick your knees into your chest, and then turn around and do high knees all the way on the way back. I'll do it with you so you can see what it looks like, and I'll give you a little demonstration. Ready, go. Then turn around and do that on the way back. Now you'll notice when I'm doing high knees, I'm not running and taking super long steps. I was actually taking really small steps. That's what you want to do with high knees. You want to try to take as many itty bitty little steps as you can while pumping your knees up as high as you can in between every single time. Now the next one you're going to do is my favorite one. It's called bottom kickers. I call them bottom kickers because you're going to actually try to kick yourself in the bottom with your heel. Important announcement. Please, please, please don't kick your brother. Don't kick your sister, don't kick your mom, your dad, your grandpa, your dog in the bottom. Only kick your bottom. So you're gonna go right back to the place that you began, and you're gonna do bottom kickers all the way to the other side, turn around, do bottom kickers all the way back. Ready, go. Turn around, bottom kickers all the way back, just like high knees. You'll notice I wasn't trying to take super long steps in between every single one. You're still trying to take really, really short, small steps as you try to kick your bottom with your heel every single time. Those are bottom kickers. Next, we're gonna do super simple, super easy. You actually don't need your 10 or 12 feet of space for this one. We're gonna do jumping jacks, or at Victory Sports, sometimes we call these star jumps because you look a little bit like a star when you're doing them. All you're gonna do is stand in one spot with your feet together and your hands down at your side, and you're gonna jump and spread your legs. And while you're spreading your legs, you're gonna raise your hands up and touch them at the top just like this. That's where you kind of look like a star. So you jump, spread your legs out, raise your hands up, and then you're gonna jump again and go right back to how you started, putting your legs back together and your arms back down at your side. Just like that. Let's see if we can do 10 jumping jacks or star jumps all together. Ready, go. 2, 4, 5, 10. Just like that. That was 10 star jumps. Now we're ready to move on to our last part of the warm-up. You're gonna go back to the same side of the 10 to 12 feet that you've been starting on, and all you're gonna do is jog to the other side, turn around and jog back. Remember, a jog is not a full sprint or a run, but it's also not a walk. You're gonna jog, turn around, jog back. The last one, you're gonna start right there and you're gonna sprint, run as fast as you can to the other side and sprint and run as fast as you can on the way back. I'll let you guys do that one. You don't need me to show you how to sprint or run. All right, now that we're all warmed up, all you need to do is find your soccer ball, put that soccer ball in front of you, and we are ready to start our first drill or skill with the soccer ball. Now, pop quiz for you. If you can remember what these were called, I know this was many months ago over in Hoffman Park, but if you can remember what these are called, shout it out. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Did you guess? We call these TikToks. If you said TikToks, great job, way to go. We call these TikToks because the ball looks a little bit like a pendulum of a clock. A pendulum goes back and forth every single second. That's what makes the tick-tock noise. Tick-tock, tick-tock. So what I want you to do is put that ball right in between your legs, and we're gonna do 10 TikToks all together at my pace. Don't go too fast, don't go too slow. And when you're doing TikToks, you just wanna use the insides of your feet. You don't wanna kick the ball too far or too hard because it'll get away from you. Just nice and easy, right in between your feet. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 TikToks. Nice job. Now, if you've played soccer before, or maybe you're a little more used to some of these drills, that's okay. Because 1, you should still practice the basics, and 2, you can still practice this along with us, but you can just go a little bit faster, right? You can still do these drills and just go as fast as you possibly can. If you've never played soccer before, or if the first time you ever played soccer was when we did it in the homeschool sports gym, that's okay. You can stick with me and go at my pace, and we can learn together and be reminded of soccer together, no matter what. The next thing we're gonna do is another pop quiz, and I want you to yell it out, shout it out if you know what these are called. I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. If you said toe touches, you were correct. Or if you said a stop or trap, I will also count that. That is what we call what I'm doing right now. This is a stop or trap, or I often call it a toe touch because I'm using my toe to touch the ball. Now, I want everyone to do a toe touch with me. Remember, when you're doing a toe touch, it doesn't mean you want to stomp on the ball and put all your weight on the ball like that. You might pop the ball or you'll roll off more likely. You want to just put enough pressure so that you're in control of the ball, you know where the ball is going, and you have made sure that the ball is yours. Now I want you to switch feet, do a toe touch with the other foot, switch feet again, switch feet again, switch feet again, and then we're gonna go a little bit faster and faster and faster, and we're gonna keep going until all of a sudden, if you're like me, you're actually doing a little bit of a jump in between every single toe touch, and then I want you to go as fast as you can, until you lose it like me. Now, like I said, if you've done toe touches before or traps and stops before, if you played soccer before, that's great. Do it with us right now and go as fast as you can, just like we were. And if you haven't, that's okay. We'll do 10 all together, a little bit slower. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And on a toe touch. Nice job. Now we've covered our TikToks, we've covered our toe touches. Now it's time to get a little more creative and have a little bit more fun with my next drill that's gonna help us practice passing. Now for this drill, what you need is your ball, and you'll actually need either a partner or a wall, or anything that you can kick the ball off of and have it bounce back to you. It could be a fence, a wall, maybe an even bigger ball. I'm not sure. You can get creative. I think that we can all probably find something in, around, or outside of our house that we could kick the ball off of and have it come back to us. If you're not sure, ask your mom or dad. They'll help you out. So get your ball, find your wall, and follow me. All right, now that we're all warmed up and we're ready to start practicing our skills and drills, all you're gonna do is you're gonna pass the ball into the wall so that it bounces back to you, or if you have a partner, you're gonna pass the ball to your partner so that he or she can pass the ball back to you. Now, before we get to passing, one thing I want to remind you of, right, when you're passing the ball, you don't want to pass it with your toes, because 1, that's going to hurt really, really bad. And number 2, if you kick the ball with your toes, you don't know necessarily where it's going to go. It could go that way, it could go all over the place. You want to pass the ball using the inside part of your foot. When I work with little 4-year-olds, sometimes I call that the penguin part of your foot, because penguins walk like this. You want to use that part of your foot. So I'm going to pass the ball right to where I want it to go using the inside of my foot. Now remember, passing, it's super, super important to be accurate. You don't necessarily have to worry about how powerful you are. Accurate, not powerful. Now, accuracy means you pick a spot where you want to pass it to and you try to hit it right on the bullseye of that spot. As you get better and better at passing, as you practice and practice, then you absolutely want to make sure that that pass is more and more powerful so that it gets to its target on time, the right way, so that your teammate can take the ball and go score. So remember, accuracy right now is what we're working for first. Now that you have your ball, you know what you're doing to pass. All we're gonna do is we're gonna pass it, pick a spot on our wall, and we're gonna pass it right to that spot just so it bounces back to us. Now, every single time that it bounces back, you can do what we call take a touch or a couple touches to resettle the ball so that you can pass it again. So if I pass it, I might need to take a touch by doing a stop, right, or a toe touch, just so I can control it and then pass it again. If you need to take 2 touches, just so you're a little bit more prepared, that's okay. And as soon as you feel comfortable with that, then go to taking 1 touch. And once you feel like you've gotten the 1 touch down, then go to no touches. No touches, all that means is I'm gonna pass the ball so it hits the wall, bounces back to me, and I'm gonna pass it right back off the wall again, trying to hit that same spot every time. Now, if you're doing this with a partner, you do it the exact same way, except the wall is no longer there and your partner's there instead. You could pass to your partner, they could do a touch, pass it back, you could do a touch, pass it back, and as you get more and more comfortable, then you can just start passing it back and forth with your partner, trying to do no touches in between. Now, this is a skill and drill, but it's actually really easy to turn it into a game as well. I want to see how many times you can pass it off a wall, have it come back to you, pass it again before you lose control of the ball. Oh, I think I only got 5 or 6 and I lost control of the ball. The more accurate you are, the better you're gonna be at passing. And the more and more you practice, then the harder and harder and more powerful you can kick the ball when you pass. All right, boys and girls, now that we're done with our warm-up, we're done with our skills and drills, it's time for a little challenge time. And in this challenge time today, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite stories from the Old Testament, and one of my very favorite characters from the Old Testament. And I bet it's a story that you've heard before, but I would challenge you to listen anyways, because even if it is a story you've heard before, I think that this story really, really does a good job of relating a little bit to our lives right now. So this story is from the Old Testament and is about a man named Daniel. Now, Daniel lived in a kingdom, and in the king of that kingdom was King Darius. King Darius and Daniel had a really good relationship. They were actually really good friends. They talked all the time, they hung out, and they spent a lot of time together. Now, the problem was that a lot of King Darius's men were really jealous of Daniel and jealous of his relationship with King Darius. So they devised a plan. They decided that they were going to trick King Darius into making a law that they knew wasn't a very good law, and they knew that Daniel would probably break. So the law that they tricked King Darius into making was that for 30 days, nobody in the entire kingdom was allowed to pray to God. They were only allowed to pray to King Darius. Now, King Darius didn't really understand why they were making this law, but he thought, I'd like people to pray to me, why not? So he said okay to the law. And not only that, but these men told King Darius that if someone breaks the law by praying to God, then they would be thrown into a lion's den. That's right, lion, like from the Lion King or from Africa, like real lions, into a den or cave of lions. Now, when Daniel heard about this law, he had a decision to make. You see, Daniel loved God, and Daniel always worshiped and obeyed God, and Daniel did what was right. But he had a hard, maybe even unfair decision to make. Was he going to pray to God,
but be thrown into a den of hungry lions? Or was he going to not pray to God and pray to King Darius and save himself, but know that he wasn't obeying God? Because we shouldn't be praying to anyone other than God, and of course we should pray to God. So Daniel had a hard decision to make. And I bet that Daniel probably thought that this was a little bit unfair. How is he supposed to decide between doing what's right and worshiping God and doing what he knows is best, but doing that might mean he dies? How is he supposed to decide between that and doing what he knew was wrong, but living? It's a really hard decision, and it's really unfair decision. But Daniel trusted God, and so Daniel kept praying, and he kept praying. Every single day, he kept praying and kept praying. And King Darius' men knew that he was going to keep praying, so they came to his house one day and found him praying to God. So they went and told King Darius, and King Darius had no choice. He was upset. He had no choice, though, but to throw Daniel into the lion's den. Now, when Daniel got thrown in the lion's den, do you think he was scared? I bet he was terrified. I know I would have been horrified to be in this den of hungry lions. But I also know that Daniel still trusted God, that he still knew that God had a plan. And boy, oh boy, did God have a plan. If you've heard the story before, you know that God closed the mouths of those lions so that not only were they not hungry, but they weren't even dangerous to Daniel at all. Daniel spent the entire night with these lions. I bet he even spent the night cuddling with some of the lions. I bet they were really warm. The next day, King Darius and his men came back to open up the den and probably find Daniel dead or eaten by the lions. And they found Daniel, cuddled up with a bunch of lions, happy as can be, healthy as can be. And he was probably praying to God while he did it. They brought him up out of the den. King Darius got rid of that law, got rid of those men, and they all went on about their way. Now, I don't know about you, but I like this story because I feel like that's a little bit how life feels like right now. It's not fair that we have to stay at home and we can't go anywhere. It's not fair that we can't do homeschool sports jam. We can't go to school. We can't go to greenhouse. We can't do all the other amazing things we get to do normally. We can't go to restaurants. We can't go to movies. We can't go bowling. I can't see you guys. I have to do this over video. None of that's fair. But we know that what we're doing is right. We're helping a lot of people. We're protecting a lot of people. And we're protecting ourselves. And we know that God has a plan. And especially if we listen to God, trust God, love God, and obey God, we know that God's plan for us is going to be what's best and what is right. Even though it seems like this isn't fair right now, I want to challenge you guys to be like Daniel, to trust God and still keep obeying God. Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to hang out with one another, even if it's just over this silly video, God. I pray that you help us to be like Daniel, that even though this doesn't feel very fair right now, in fact, it feels unfair, God, I pray that you help us to continue to trust you, to obey you, and to listen to you, because we know that you love us. We know that you have a plan for us. In your name, amen. All right, let's get back to it.
All right, boys and girls, thank you for listening to that story of Daniel in the lion's den with me. It's one of my favorite stories and one of my favorite characters from the Bible, and I think it really fits in with what we are dealing with today. Now that we have done our warm-up, we've done our skills and drills, and we have done our challenge time, now we can get into a couple of games that I have in mind for you. So this game is a lot of fun, and all you need is a soccer ball and maybe a partner or a couple other household items. Let me show you how to play. So this first game is a great game for you and a partner. That partner could be your brother, your sister, your mom, dad, anyone at or around your house that is willing to come play with you. If you ask nicely, this is a great game to play with them. Now, unfortunately, as you can see, I have no partner, but that's okay. I can describe it for you right here. What you're gonna need is you're gonna need two objects that you can set about 10 or 12 feet apart from each other. I have two cones that I've set up. Cones are perfect, but water bottles work all right. And you could even use another ball. You could use a dirty t-shirt. You could use an old shoe. You could use anything that you could put out 10 or 12 feet apart outside If they can stand up and be knocked over like a cone or a water bottle, that's the best way to do this. But like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be. So here's how this game works. This game is just called cone knockdown. You and your partner are going to be in opposite teams. Your cone or object will be on one side, your opponent's cone or object will be on the other side. The name of the game is to knock down or hit your opponent's object with the soccer ball. But the whole time, your opponent's going to try to make sure that you are not able to knock their cone down or hit their object. Now, you've got to do the exact same thing with your cone or object. You can try to take the ball away from each other, so that way you have to work a little bit on offense and on defense, and the winner of the game is whoever can knock down the opponent's cone with the ball. You can't just use your foot and kick the cone down. You've got to use the ball. The winner of the game is whoever knocks down or hits their opponent's object first. That's a great game to play with a partner, but like I said, maybe you're like me, maybe you don't have a partner you can play with today, and that's okay. This next game is an easy game that you can play all by yourself. I call this game soccer bowling. Soccer bowling, super simple. All you need is your soccer ball, and then you need either some cones like I have, or if you don't have cones at home, water bottles or plastic cups work great, or even if you have action figures, toys that stand up. It's anything that can get knocked over and you aren't necessarily worried about it getting dirty or broken. So I have a couple cones. I wish I had some more, but that's okay. All you're gonna do is you're gonna set up your cones a little bit, bowling pins, and then you're going to take your ball. I'm going to start maybe 5-6 feet away, and I'm going to pass the ball into the cones and see if I can knock them down in one try. Oh, I missed. That wasn't a very good demonstration. Let me try again. The idea is that I'm going to use the inside of my foot, pass the ball, and knock down the cones just like so. That would be a spare because I missed on the first one. That's all right. Once I knock down those 5 feet away, then I'll take the ball, reset the cones back up, and I'm actually going to scoot back a little bit further. Now I'll go maybe 8, 9, or 10 feet away. You can keep going and see how far away from the cones or water bottles, whatever you could find, how far away you can get from them and still have the accuracy, still be able to knock down those cones, cups, water bottles, wherever you have. That is soccer bowling, and is a great game that you can play even by yourself. Another really great way to practice your soccer skills, and a fun way to do that all by yourself, if with just one ball, is to practice your juggling. Now, it's not like this kind of juggling where you're throwing the ball up and trying to keep it off the ground, but it is a game where you're trying to keep the ball off the ground. However, in soccer, you can only use your knees, shoulders, chest, head, or feet, right? So it's simple as that. I'm gonna practice my juggling. I'm gonna see how many times I can kick the ball and keep it up off the ground. Now, a little hint for you, a little trick. It's a lot easier to start with your knees. Even though that doesn't feel very simple, it's a lot easier to just kick it with your knee just like that. So if you're just starting out, if you've never tried this before, just throw it right up off your knee one time and catch it. It's a great way to start practicing. Once you master that, you can try to do it 2 times. I'll go off one knee and then right to my other knee, just like that. I'll go 1 knee, 2 knee, catch it. 1 knee, 2 knee, catch it. 1 knee, 2 knee, oh, I lost it. Once you've gotten better and better at hitting it up off your knees, then maybe you could try with your feet. Now, fair warning, soccer is probably not my best sport, so I'll do my best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for me, not bad, not bad, I'll take 9. See how many times you can keep the ball up off the ground before it hits, using your feet, your knees, your shoulders, your chest, even your head. I don't know if you could beat 9, I'd be interested.